All right, welcome to the Life Outside the Mold podcast. If you're new here, we talk all things entrepreneurship and everything but living an ordinary lifestyle. Today I have the privilege of sitting down with someone who's transacted over 200 million in real estate, generates multiple seven figures a year in his businesses, all while spending less than 5 hours a week running his real estate companies. Harry, super stoked to sit down with you today and really figure out what it takes to build a company that serves you rather than you serving the company.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, for one. And just to clarify a couple things, like I had to put a number in there just to act like I still own the company. So 5 hours is a little bit of a stretch. If I really get 5 hours in, that's probably exaggerating a little bit. So
Yeah.
I don't do much in my real estate companies because I've been able to build the right team. And you said, what does it take really to build something that allows you to own your business versus your business owning you is the way I look at it, right? How do you work on your business versus in your business? Like I run
Mm-hmm.
my businesses off of spreadsheets, off of metrics, KPIs, right? And I can see everything at that point and know what to tweak. Like, let's turn this dial a little bit right here and we're going to get this much more result. Let's pull this lever down a little bit right
Mm-hmm.
here. We're going to get this result. And it all starts by having the right systems and processes, creating trainings around all that, and then what? Putting the right people in place to follow those things. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's literally that simple. And I remember my first mentorship that I got involved with in 2012. I remember sitting there, and one of the first things that they were hammering in is like, go read the book E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Puts it into perspective and systems and processes and documentation. And I was just like, man, who's got time for that? And now
Yeah.
I'm preaching like, look, from the get go, every single thing that you do, create a system around it, write it out, document it, and then create a training by it. Do it one time and then do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
perfect it. Maybe you have to do it a couple times to tweak things. I'm actually most of my time is spent in this company right here, Tab. Accelerator is an event that we're getting ready to host. We do it 3 times a year. It's actually a 2 day event where I'm just like literally it's only me. I'm teaching. I basically pull back the curtain and show every single thing that we are doing in our business, like step by step to create the results and generate what we do and get to the point where you're not working in your business, but you're working on your business so that you can build the same team.
Mm. So, before we jump into building a team, before we dive heavy into that, can you tell me a little bit about kind of who you are? I know a little bit about before we talked about you didn't go to school. Can you dive a little into that?
Yeah, for sure. So I moved down to North Carolina in 1995, 46 years old today. And in 1995, I was just eager to go to work, make money. I had a choice when I left New York. It was either go to college or come down here with my dad and be a carpenter and start working.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it wasn't even a conversation. I hated school. I barely got through high school just because I hated it. I just wanted to work, hustle, make money, right? So I come down here, move down to North Carolina in 95 and go straight to work. My dad had just moved down here a few months prior to me getting down here and go to work. 97, I decide to start my own contracting business. So I'm creeping up on 25 years in business, a couple months away from 25 years in business.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2002, I'm thinking to myself, well, 2002, I get into real estate, right? So I remember thinking as a contractor, like I'm working for these builders. These builders seem like they're the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
How can I be the top of the food chain,
Where's
right?
the money being made here?
Exactly. Like we are all working for the man. How do you become the man? Like that was my mindset in 2002. So
Mm-hmm.
I go out get my general contractor's license. Me and a friend of mine partnered up. We bought a house. We cut the roof off it, put a second floor addition, made it into a 4 bedroom, 4 bath house over by NC State University to rent out the rooms for 650 a pop. And we were all into this property for less than 200 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, like this is pretty cool. But as we were doing that one, then it's like everybody in that neighborhood wanted to sell their properties to us. So we just started buying houses, flipping them, cutting people out, put second floor additions, and
No
next,
shit.
then we started buying houses, tearing them down, building new, and that's how I got into real estate. Now things were a lot easier then to find properties than they are today.
Mm,
Now everybody's in real estate, everybody's marketing, trying to find those deals. Those deals usually just come to us through
mm,
neighbors or realtors back then, right? So,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I get into real estate in 2002. 2012, I learned about mentorship, which I just mentioned a little while ago. 2012 to today, we're at 2021, almost 2022, almost 10 years later. My growth in the last 9 years has been exponential compared to, the previous years, because
Yeah.
what before it was like me trying to figure everything out and doing what I thought was right. Then when you get somebody who's already done this and has had mentors and has paved the path and figured out how to do it, and then you jump on from where they left off and use them as a crutch to be able to help your growth, that, I mean, it just doesn't even, it's not even comparable for,
Yeah.
to doing it yourself.
Yeah. And so since then, you've built out a pretty large team, right?
So that's funny. Okay, so I had at one point in time a large team. So check this out. So a large team. We have 5 active businesses here. So
Yeah.
5 active businesses between what's in my office and what's virtual. We have well over 100 people that we employ. Well
Yeah.
over. So yes, large team in that sense. But I'll just tell you about my real estate business. Okay, my marketing acquisitions company, OfferHUD. At one point in time, we had a bunch of acquisitions, dispositions, transactions. We had bookkeeping, admin, all those people in house. Okay, so listen to this. My my budget for marketing and all of my outsourced teams, like if I had a direct mail campaign going on, that mail house, right, that
Yeah.
fulfillment company, all my VAs and all that stuff, not including my internal payroll along with bonuses and commission, not including that, was $80,000 a month. Okay, $80,000
Yeah.
a month that we were spending. Then you have commissions, payroll, bonuses, all that for the internal team. I've taken that entire big team and we've developed an outsourced virtual team that is mostly in the Philippines. And we've trained these people to do
Interesting.
each and every single position. Now we have a large outsourced team, right? We have, and
Yeah.
our lead sources coming in. We've dialed in the way we're getting our leads and such. And it's went from $80,000, not including payroll and all, to $36,000. I have 2 people in office. They're managers. One manages one part of the company, one manages the other part of the company,
Huh.
and everybody else is outsourced. So we've cut our cost in less than half. We've increased our revenue by 4 times. And you can imagine what that did to our profitability.
Yeah. Has that involved a lot of training and like micromanaging people in the Philippines or
So it training, like, yes, training. So I have, and I'm actually revamping right now a full training, step-by-step training for all of my cold callers,
yeah,
how to manage the cold callers. I've already have it, but now I found some different ways and we're tweaking it and adding a couple of extra pieces.
because
How do
everyone's
my
calling.
Yeah. So how does my team here manage all those people in the VA, and how do those VAs get training to get them better every single day? Right.
Yeah.
So I'm revamping all that. Now, check this out. It takes my sales manager about 20 minutes of his time every single day to read the metrics,
No shit.
to be able to listen to a couple of one or two of their calls, and do a quick screencast and send it over to them on training them to push them to the next level so that they're hitting their numbers every single day. So he's got
Mm,
20 minutes invested a day into cold callers. He's about a 30-minute call every single day invested into the virtual acquisitions people. And then the rest of his time is being a lead manager, sales manager, watching or being a strategist on the marketing and what's coming in. Like he's managing, right? So point is, we used to have a lot of people doing stuff in our office, and now we have more people managing stuff, and we outsource the doing. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So, um, obviously, it took a little while to creating how people in the operating procedures to grow a business like that without much of your presence. What are your sort of delegation methods and recruiting strategies to find those A players that can help grow your business?
Yeah. So internal or like you talking about virtual assistants, or you
Virtual
talking?
assistants
Okay.
specifically, yeah.
So virtual assistance is difficult. Okay. I'm actually, it's funny because I'm actually literally writing out something about this right this minute. I'm in the process of creating an ebook on this.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to find one or two good, solid VAs that are literally going to go to bat for you.
Mhm.
And several years ago, I went through 15, 20 people roughly. I don't know. I didn't count it. I didn't document it, but 15, 20 people to find two good VAs. Okay. Two good VAs. Today, one of those two still work for me.
Mhm.
That person is now a manager, and that person manages that entire team. Plus, they're now a recruiter for me. So they know exactly what we're looking for. So
Yeah.
I just send her a message and I'm like, hey, I actually did this yesterday. I said, I need three more people. This is what I need. Give her a little bit of criteria. And she knows exactly what to do because she's got the SOPs in place. If he triggers, he says he needs this. This is the description. She knows the rest what to do. So I send her a
Mhm.
message on Slack, and already this morning she sends me the first video. I watch a 1 minute long video. It took me 1 minute to send her a message. Actually, you know what I did? It was about a minute and a half long video. I threw up my phone, uh, shot a quick video of myself so I can explain exactly what I'm trying to create.
Yeah.
I send it to her on Slack. She says, okay, got it. I'll get started now. This morning, one of the first things that happened is she already sends me the first video,
No
and I
shit.
give her feedback on it. I'm like, well, my feedback is blank, 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 blank. So she says, okay, noted. I said, don't make this person isn't a no, but they're not a strong yes. I was
Yeah.
like, let's see what else that we can find. Right. So point is to answer that, come full circle and answer that question. It's not easy finding the first good VA, but once you find the first good VA, then you're golden. Okay. So what I do is I
Mhm.
actually source good VAs, and then I also guarantee them for 30 days. So if it doesn't work out, and then I give a whole training program on how to manage that person effectively to get the highest use and best use out of that person.
Mhm. Okay. And so more specific, I know we talked about VAs, but a lot of people right now are struggling to build up teams in their businesses right now. In a time where people are getting paid more to sit at home, and many small business owners are caught up in the day to day of their business, working 80 hours but just not getting any further. What do you say to someone that is struggling to find the right people and build out and delegate their business so that it serves them?
Sure. Okay, so first and foremost, it's the hardest time to find good people. I've been in business for 25 years, and every year it gets harder and harder and harder. The way the government wants to take care of people and just make it so that they don't have to work, people take advantage of that, right?
Yeah.
It's been this year has been literally the hardest I've ever had to get good people.
Hmm.
So first and foremost, it starts off with having core values. Okay, so you have to make a decision. What are your core values that you're going to live and die by? What is your company built around? What are you built around? And that's how you hire, right? So then you go into you hire people that fit in those core values. They don't fit in those core values, then they're not worthy of being in there, right? They can go
Yeah.
work fit in somebody else's core values. You get somebody that's in that comes in, fits in your core values, that's what you hire on. And you also fire on that person. If they all of a sudden start veering off, they don't fit in those core values, you can't rope them back in, you let them go. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So now recruiting, there's a lot of things. Okay. There's a lot of things. Like you
Hmm.
have to have your social clean. You have to show that you're a leader on social.
Mm,
right? Don't have a bunch of BS about politics and all this nonsense and just trying to be controversial. Like that
mhm.
doesn't serve somebody who wants to come work for you,
Yeah.
right? Show that you're a leader and that here's what people want. People want to go work someplace that they know that they're going to leave better than they came.
Mhm. Where they
Okay,
can grow.
some place that they can grow, right?
Mhm.
So what people forget is that they think that when they're trying to hire somebody, that okay, I'm looking at this person. What they forget is that they're also looking at you.
Mhm.
They're doing research on you, the owner, trying to see anything out there that doesn't fit. Because just like we're trying to find someone that fits in our core values, they want to make sure they're going somewhere that fits in their core values. Does that make
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that people forget.
Okay.
So having your social right, having your website clear, states exactly what you do. One thing I have on every single one of my websites, you go to offerout.com, tabtribe.com, intellimate.com, every single one of my websites. You scroll down to the bottom, you see a little button that says careers. You click on that. It takes you to a careers page, shows you our core values, the mission statement, and a click here to apply. Has a little bit about why work here, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So we have that in place. So if we're hiring, whether we're using Indeed, why is hire, whatever the source might be to drive traffic, we build an ad. The ads are really not, the copy on an ad isn't too crucial. Like
Yeah.
I've tried it where it had killer copy. I've hired good copywriters to make it sound warm, fuzzy, and sexy. And then I've done pretty basic ones, and I haven't seen too much of a difference between the two.
Okay.
So I run an ad, and then just like everything, you have to have a system. Run an ad, people come through, and this is where things have changed dramatically. Now, I used to run them and flew them through the CRM that I have, where they take a quick little test, it scores them, then I pick a certain score, the top scores, and then I send them a email, a request for a 60-second or less video telling me a little bit about themselves and why they'd be the best person for the position. Oh, by the way, I need that by tomorrow by close of business, 5 o'clock. So I'm trying to get somebody who's gonna follow directions, that's motivated to want to come work for us.
Be quick.
Be quick, right. Am I getting a video at 4:59, or am I getting a video an hour after I sent the email?
Yeah.
Right? I'm noting all these things. Did they
Yeah.
send me a video that's around 60 seconds, or did they send me a three minute long video? Did they send me a 20-second video? You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
taking note of all these things. Okay, so where things have changed is it's really hard to get people to go through that, because there's so many jobs, so many companies looking for people. They've made it so damn easy for people to get a job, that and the whole thing about working virtual, like we have virtual people, I have people all around
Yeah.
the world, but then
Yeah.
we have the specific people that it's non-negotiable. You have to come in the office every single day.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those people. Virtual people, you can find them all day long.
Yeah.
That's easy. So now we have to take extra steps. We're having to reach out, have them set up a call, a 15-minute call. We go over like why we're a good company to work for. We give them a little bit of information, and we ask them if they're comfortable sending a video, and they'll tell you yes or no. If no, if that person who called and spent that 10-15 minutes with that person, if they feel good about the person, they feel like they could be a good candidate for the managing, the person who's hiring that person, to
Yeah.
the manager for that department, to take on an in-person interview, or
Yeah.
if they said that they're going to send a video, that tells you a lot about a person. So we always try to get a video a minute long to see if we want to spend an hour, 2 hours in an in-person interview with them. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely. So, what happens if you hire out the wrong team? Say you have a VA and you're struggling to manage them, and you're maybe it's you as the leader or it's the VA, but what happens when you have the wrong team? How does the business fall apart? What are the consequences of having the wrong people in the wrong places?
Yeah. So I'm going to answer it this way. Um, it's very expensive to hire people. Okay. It's very expensive to hire the wrong people. because typically it takes about 90 days before you start getting the return on your investment. Like the first
Yeah.
90 days, they're training, they're getting comfortable, they're learning everything, they're getting up to par. And then when it becomes unconscious consciousness and they're just doing their job and they're doing it at a higher level, usually is around a 90-day plus mark.
Yeah. And so in that 90 days, a lot of people, business owners go through a turnover rate where the VA leaves or they're struggling to find success in the VA. So,
So why does that happen?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it happens because a lot of business owners set them up for failure. They don't have the right training in place. They don't have the right onboarding in place. They don't have everything that they need to be successful at their position. So one or two things happen. They either skate along and they're just a very, mediocre person. And after 90 days, you're like, this isn't working out, and you get rid of them. Or they're like, I'm not growing here. This is not challenging me. They're not very helpful and supportive. I'm gone. So that's why the hire, and I used to be that person. Hire, fire, hire, fire, hire, fire. Oop, I found one good one. Boom, hire, fire, hire, fire. Now when
Yeah.
we hire, we have an intention to find a specific person, and when they're onboarded, they go through a specific training. They also know that we have culture here. We have
Yeah.
culture. On top of that, every single person in my office is expected to do a minimum of 30 minutes of training on my time every single day, up to 1 hour. And we have different trainings that we provide. Also, there's things like there's some of the people here that are working in this office. There's only so much that I can provide for training. So I'm like, look, go on YouTube, research your product,
Yeah.
research this business, and try to see how you can get your particular department better.
Yeah. And so I like that, how you said, go on YouTube, don't directly listen to me, but are you saying that they should listen to your YouTube videos, or are you saying go listen to other YouTubers that are, um, s- specific in this industry and see how you can better yourself for our business?
Yeah, so typically what happens is in the beginning, they have one, depending on what position they come in at, 1 to 2 weeks solid training. And I would say 90% of the positions in here, like bookkeeping and stuff like that, have nothing to do with it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's not my forte. But that's my business partner. He has trainings for those people. But they have 1 to 2 weeks of solid training that's just from me. Then they have ongoing training that they can choose to do my trainings or trainings I provide. Like for my salespeople, I have different sales trainings. Like I use the Jordan Belford straight line system,
Yeah.
and they log into there. I have another system or another training for another sales team that I use for that. Like so, I have some outsourced ones. Like we actually invest into our people.
Yeah.
I've said it recently.
I
In
like that.
2021 alone, we've invested between my own personal growth, my wife, my kids, and my team over $200,000 that we've invested into
Yeah.
personal growth into our people, because we know if we put that investment out,
You'll
it
see the
comes out.
ROI on it.
Yeah, huge ROI on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, next section, I want to dive into you kind of just your purpose, where you're headed in life. Um, what is kind of your purpose, your why in life, something that keeps you going?
I'm just, for one, I've been asked this question many times. Like, I'm a very just driven, motivated person.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it's freedom.
Yeah.
For me, it's
Okay.
freedom. I
That
have literally beat the hell out of my body by being a carpenter, sports, all that stuff, and then working to death, working 80, 100 hours a week for many, many years. I went 10 years without even taking a vacation, not taking a day off, to
yeah.
now I try to figure out how much more I can make doing less. Like I
Yeah.
want to do less and make more. And I want to be able to like now, like I'm barely on my computer. I'm on my computer if I'm writing some kind of book or training or something like that. Or if I'm doing one of these like podcast videos, training my team, something like that, or training my
Yeah.
mentorship
Yeah.
program.
Okay. So yeah, that was gonna be my next kind of question. What drives you? Is it money, family, or freedom? But what would you say is your perspective on life? Like, how does your perspective on life as a successful entrepreneur differ from someone working in 9 to 5 who's maybe happy with that? Maybe they're just kind of getting by, but what do you say that how do you look at life differently, would you say?
I look at life that I can choose what I want to do on my terms. If I want to make more money, I can put something in place to make more money. If I want to create more freedom, I design it that way so I create more freedom, right? When somebody goes and they're working for somebody, they're doing what they tell them to do. Clock in, clock out. They're there during these types of hours. They have to perform in a certain way. So
Mhm.
for me, it gives me the freedom to do what I want to do to create the lifestyle I want to create.
And so have you always had that belief that you were kind of capable of any freedom you desired, or did that come at a certain age? Or
So I guess when I first started, for the first many, many years until I learned about mentorship, and I was just kind of at that point where I was just over it. I was tired. I was working
yeah,
too much. Prior to that, it was just hustle, make more money, make more money, make more money. And I did pretty decent for those years. But looking back, I was like, yeah, I was a broke kid, right?
yeah,
What I was doing then in a year, I do more than that a month now. And I do a fraction, I spend a fraction of the time doing it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I
yep.
have people making more money that I pay than I was making back then.
Hmm. So
So
did you always think you were capable of something like this, or did this come at like a certain?
mentorship is when I didn't really, I guess when you first think, you're like, oh yeah, I own my own business, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
And then you quickly find out if you don't have the right
you
systems or
can't.
processes in
Yeah,
place, you can't. Like your business becomes, it owns you. You don't own your
your
business.
job. Yep.
Exactly. You just created a high paying job for yourself. So it actually took a couple years of mentorship. It was 2014 at a mastermind that I went to where it was just like I had this mind blowing aha moment. And that's when things just started really getting to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna take over and I'm gonna own this and I'm gonna run with this and I'm gonna start taking a month off and then 2 months off. Last year we went to Cabo San Lucas and lived on this giant house that overhung like this on the side of this mountain, overhung the Pacific Ocean while we're watching whales go by and jumping for 5 months. We took my
Yeah.
two kids, my dog, my wife. We were like, let's go, and we ran our businesses from there through Zoom and phone and text and everything. It just did what it was supposed to do, and it grew, and everybody was happy, and we were. I remember there was people. I came back and we had like 3 people that we had hired while I was gone. I hadn't even met, and I came back and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, good to meet you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think one of the really important things too that we've kind of emphasized, but I want to emphasize this even more is that you can't do that kind of stuff. Like you can't walk away from a business unless you have those kind of SOPs and people in the right place that can grow your business without you being there. You owning a business doesn't mean that you can have all the time you want. It doesn't. There's this kind of mantra that owning a business gives you freedom or owning real estate gives you freedom. It's not unless it's really done right. The operating procedures that are there, that then you can have that kind of freedom. So that's I really want to emphasize that for anyone listening. But that's awesome, Terry. I appreciate you sharing your story. I think a lot of people can take some reflection from this and really just strategize how to flip the switch on their business. If people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Social's the best way. Terry Thayer II is where you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. Um, that's the best way is through social. Send me a DM and let me know that you heard me on the show and let's talk.
Yeah, and I'll drop Terry's socials in the comments below, his website and all his socials. And if you guys are listening and want to connect with him, but thank you, Terry. I really appreciate it. I look forward to connecting with you in November.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.